if the person you trust most is the very one who drains your spirit on eclipse day, history shows eclipses expose hidden truths, shadows in the sky and shadows in people. Chosen ones feel it first, and ignoring the signs can cost everything. Stay close, because today you'll see why trust can turn into danger. Eclipses are not ordinary celestial events. They are moments when the universe seems to press pause and invite us to pay attention. Across cultures and throughout history, eclipses have carried a sense of awe, fear, and reverence. Ancient civilizations didn't treat these alignments as random shadows in the sky. They saw them as divine signals, markers of great change. For instance, the Babylonians meticulously recorded eclipses because they believed they foretold shifts in kingdoms. In many cultures, rulers would even step down temporarily, fearing the celestial imbalance might bring about their downfall. These were not just superstitions, they were intuitive acknowledgments that eclipses open energetic doors we don't fully understand. What makes eclipse days especially powerful is the way they disrupt our usual rhythms. The sun represents clarity, vitality, and external action. The moon symbolizes emotions, intuition, and the unseen world within us. When the two align in such a dramatic way, light and shadow interact on both a cosmic and personal scale. For the chosen ones, those highly sensitive to spiritual energy, this alignment is felt deep in the body and soul. It's why you may feel restless, emotional, or strangely alert during these times. The veil between the seen and unseen becomes thinner, and you naturally pick up on energies most people ignore. This heightened sensitivity can be both a blessing and a challenge. On one hand, the eclipse serves as a mirror, showing you truths you may have overlooked. On the other, it magnifies hidden tensions in your surroundings, particularly in your closest relationships. This is why many traditions treated eclipse days as times for withdrawal and reflection rather than outward activity. It wasn't weakness, it was wisdom. When the sky itself seems unstable, it makes sense to protect your inner world. Think of the eclipse as a reset button. Just as a computer reboots to clear errors, eclipses wipe away stagnant patterns and create space for new beginnings. But in that in-between moment, when the light is swallowed by shadow, energies are unsettled, and not everyone handles that gracefully. Some people react with fear, others with aggression, and some with envy. As a chosen one, you must remember that the eclipse doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone. The difference is that you are aware of it, while others may be unconsciously acting out their shadows. So when eclipse day arrives, see it for what it truly is, a cosmic spotlight revealing both your own hidden depths and the true nature of those around you. It is not a time to be afraid, but to be awake. Use the energy as a teacher. Pay attention to what arises in your thoughts, your emotions, and the behavior of those closest to you. This awareness alone can protect you from missteps and prepare you for the deeper spiritual lessons the eclipse is offering. One of the most fascinating and sometimes unsettling aspects of an eclipse is the way it draws out the hidden side of human nature. Carl Jung called this the shadow, the part of us that holds everything we deny, repress, or refuse to face. Most of the time, people keep their shadow tucked away behind politeness, routines, and daily distractions. But when the sky itself becomes split between light and darkness, those buried emotions often rise to the surface, whether people are ready or not. You may notice it in small, subtle ways. Someone who is usually kind might suddenly seem impatient or dismissive. A colleague or friend might let a jealous comment slip that reveals more than they intended. Even within yourself, you may find emotions bubbling up, anger, grief, or resentment you thought you had already dealt with. Eclipse energy has a way of magnifying what's unresolved, almost like a mirror that refuses to lie. Think of it like a storm passing through. The strong winds shake everything loose, pulling down branches that were already weak but looked stable from a distance. In the same way, eclipse energy shakes loose the parts of human nature that were already fragile or cracked beneath the surface. What emerges is not created by the eclipse, it was already there. The difference is that now, it can no longer be hidden. This is where awareness becomes your greatest strength. While others might react impulsively to their shadows, snapping at loved ones, making reckless decisions, or projecting blame, you can use this energy as a tool. Instead of fearing what comes out, recognize it as a revelation. The eclipse is showing you what's truly present in the people around you. It's also giving you a chance to face your own inner shadows with honesty. For chosen ones, this is an especially important lesson. Your sensitivity means you pick up not only your own emotions, but also the emotions of others. During an eclipse, you may feel heavier, more restless, or even drained without knowing why. Often, it's because you're absorbing the unspoken turbulence of the people near you. This is why discernment is crucial. Are those feelings yours, or are you carrying someone else's shadow? The shadow effect doesn't have to be destructive if you approach it with wisdom. Instead of reacting to the negativity you see, step back and observe. Take note of who shows their true colors, who handles the shift with grace, and who reveals jealousy or resentment they've been hiding. These moments are like cosmic truth serum, and if you're willing to watch carefully, you'll gain clarity about the relationships that surround you. Remember, shadows aren't meant to frighten you, they're meant to teach you. On Eclipse Day, human nature is stripped bare. If you can face that reality without fear, you'll walk away with sharper intuition and a clearer sense of who truly belongs in your journey. When people hear the word betrayal, they often think of enemies, rivals, or strangers. But the truth is, betrayal rarely comes from outsiders. It comes from the people who are closest to us. An enemy can wound you, yes, but it's the friend, the sibling, or the partner who can cut deepest. That's because they hold the keys to your trust. They know your vulnerabilities, your routines, your dreams, and your fears. And when eclipse energy unsettles the human heart, those closest connections are where hidden resentments tend to erupt first. Think about it, you do lower your guard with strangers. You keep your distance, you watch their actions, and you don't reveal everything about yourself. But with loved ones, the walls come down. You share your secrets, you give them your time, you let them into your emotional space. The closeness creates a powerful bond, but it also creates a potential weakness. When jealousy, envy, or bitterness exists under the surface, Eclipse Day can pull it out like a tide dragging hidden debris into plain sight. It often begins subtly. A supportive friend suddenly withdraws when you succeed. A family member offers advice that seems caring on the surface but is laced with doubt. A partner may express irritation about your growth, as though your progress threatens their sense of stability. These aren't coincidences. They are cracks that appear when pressure builds, and on Eclipse Day, the cosmic pressure is undeniable. Why does this happen? Because the closest people in your life are not just witnesses to your journey, they're participants in it. Your success, your growth, and your transformation affect them directly. Sometimes, instead of celebrating you, they may feel left behind, insecure, or overshadowed. And instead of admitting those feelings, they may act them out in subtle or destructive ways. The eclipse doesn't create their envy, it simply amplifies what was already quietly brewing. This is why the chosen ones must tread carefully. Your light shines brightly, especially during cosmic shifts, and while it inspires some, it unsettles others. The people nearest to you are most exposed to that light. If they haven't dealt with their own shadows, they may unconsciously turn against you, not out of pure malice, but out of their own unresolved wounds. Recognizing this truth isn't about becoming paranoid or cold, it's about becoming wise. Love people, but don't confuse love with blind trust. Observe how those closest to you behave during times of change. Do they support you, or do they subtly sabotage? Do they cheer for you when you rise, or do they quietly resent it? The answers will tell you more than words ever could. On Eclipse Day, the universe asks you to sharpen your discernment. Your inner circle should be a place of strength, not weakness. If the closest person in your life reveals themselves to be the source of harm, don't see it as tragedy, see it as liberation. Better to know the truth than to live under an illusion. If you've ever wondered why you feel the eclipse so intensely, why your body aches, your mind races, or your emotions suddenly swing, it's because chosen ones are like antennas. You don't just exist in the world, you absorb it. Every shift in the sky, every ripple of energy, every wave of collective emotion is felt in your spirit. While others go about their day as though nothing is happening, you may feel as if the air itself is vibrating differently. That sensitivity is not weakness, it is one of your greatest gifts. But on Eclipse Day, it becomes a double-edged sword. Eclipses are moments when cosmic energy peaks, almost like an electrical surge through the universe. For most people, this surge may pass unnoticed, but for chosen souls, it's amplified. Your inner compass becomes hyper-aware, and you may suddenly sense things you cannot explain, an uneasiness around certain people, an intuitive nudge to stay quiet, or an inexplicable sense of anticipation. These feelings are not random, they're signals guiding you toward protection and clarity. The challenge, however, is that heightened sensitivity also makes you more vulnerable. When the collective energy grows heavy, you don't just feel your own emotions, you feel the emotions of those around you. If a friend is jealous, you may carry that heaviness. If a family member is anxious, you may suddenly feel restless without knowing why. This is why eclipse days can leave chosen ones exhausted, drained, or even confused. Your spiritual radar is picking up every signal, good and bad, in your environment. This sensitivity is also why chosen ones are often tested more than others. Light attracts both blessings and battles. On eclipse day, when the veil between worlds thins, your energy shines brighter than usual. That light can draw in spiritual support, but it can also attract spiritual opposition. People who haven't dealt with their own shadows may unconsciously lash out, as if your very presence stirs something they don't want to face. The key is to understand that your sensitivity is not a curse, it is a teacher. It shows you where to set boundaries, when to withdraw, and whom to trust. It's a reminder that being chosen means walking a different path, one where you can't afford to ignore intuition. Instead of resisting your sensitivity, lean into it. Treat the strange emotions or sudden intuitions as divine warnings, as whispers from the universe urging you to pay attention. On eclipse day, you don't need to suppress your sensitivity, you need to protect it. Guard your peace, avoid unnecessary contact, and spend time in reflection. Think of it as shielding a flame in the wind. The flame is your light, your purpose, your calling. It only takes awareness and care to keep it burning strong, no matter how turbulent the skies become. On ordinary days, a hug, a handshake, or even sitting close to someone might feel warm and natural. But on eclipse day, these simple interactions carry a different weight. That's because energy is not just something we generate, it's something we constantly exchange. Every word, every glance, every touch is an unseen transfer of vibration. Most people aren't aware of it, but chosen ones often feel it instinctively. After meeting certain people, you either feel uplifted or completely drained. And on the day of an eclipse, when cosmic energy is amplified, this exchange becomes even more intense. Think of your energy as water stored in a sacred vessel. Normally, small leaks go unnoticed. You refill yourself through rest, prayer, or time alone. But on eclipse day, those leaks can turn into floods. A single touch from someone carrying jealousy, fear, or negativity can feel like an anchor pulling you down. Suddenly, you might notice tension in your body, anxiety you can't explain, or heaviness in your spirit. It's not your imagination, it's the transfer of energy. This is why ancient traditions often advised limiting physical contact during eclipses. They understood that when the heavens shift, people become conduits for both light and shadow. Someone carrying unresolved bitterness could, through a hug, deposit their energy into your aura. Even a conversation can work the same way. Their words may seem ordinary, but their vibration leaves a residue. As a chosen one, your heightened sensitivity makes you far more susceptible to picking up these unseen imprints. What makes this dangerous is not always intentional malice. A loved one might not consciously want to harm you, yet their inner turmoil can spill over into your space. Imagine someone going through envy or insecurity during the eclipse. If you allow them too close, you might carry their heaviness for hours or even days, mistaking it for your own. This is why so many chosen ones feel inexplicably tired or restless after being around certain people, especially during cosmic shifts. The solution is not to isolate yourself in fear, but to practice discernment and protection. On eclipse day, be mindful of your interactions. Limit unnecessary touch, avoid environments where energy is chaotic, and trust your instincts. If someone's presence feels off, give yourself permission to step back. You are not being rude, you are protecting your sacred vessel. One powerful technique is to visualize a shield of light around you before entering social spaces. Whether you imagine a glowing sphere, a cloak, or even a wall of fire, intention itself creates protection. You might also cleanse after interactions, wash your hands, breathe deeply, or recite a prayer of release. These simple acts signal to your spirit that the energy you picked up is not yours to carry. Remember this truth: your energy is your currency, and on eclipse day, it becomes more valuable than ever. Guard it wisely, because whoever touches you, physically or emotionally, leaves a mark. When you protect your field, you ensure that your light shines unshaken, no matter how much shadow the eclipse brings. One of the most important truths to understand about eclipse energy is that it exposes what people usually keep hidden. Jealousy is one of those shadows that rarely shows itself openly. Most people won't come right out and say, "I envy you." Instead, it slips through their words, tone, and body language. As the eclipse draws near, these signals become harder for them to control, and if you pay attention, you'll notice them clearly. The first sign is in language. Listen carefully to the way people speak to you around this time. A joke that doesn't feel funny, a compliment that feels backhanded, or a subtle question that plants doubt about your choices, these are all ways envy sneaks out. For example, someone might say, "Wow, you're doing well, but let's see how long that lasts." On the surface, it sounds casual, but beneath it lies resentment. During the eclipse window, these slips happen more often because the cosmic pressure makes it harder for people to keep masks on. The second sign shows up in body language. Pay attention to eye contact, facial expressions, and gestures. A forced smile, an eye roll, a sudden shift in tone, these small cues reveal emotions that words try to hide. You may notice someone goes quiet when you talk about your progress, or they change the subject quickly when you share good news. This discomfort is not random, it's jealousy trying not to be seen. The third sign is withdrawal. Instead of celebrating with you, a jealous person may pull away. They stop showing support, stop checking in, or avoid you altogether. Before an eclipse, this withdrawal can intensify. It's almost as if your growth shines too brightly against their own insecurities, and rather than face that reflection, they choose to distance themselves. Don't mistake their silence for harmlessness. It's often a clue that their feelings toward you have shifted. Finally, there's the sign of subtle sabotage. This could look like someone discouraging you from taking an opportunity, spreading doubt about your abilities, or bringing negativity into your space right before an important step. Often, they frame it as concern, but the timing and tone reveal otherwise. On eclipse day, when your path forward is already being tested, these attempts to drain your confidence become especially dangerous. Recognizing these signs doesn't mean you confront everyone or assume the worst. Instead, it means you stay aware. Eclipse energy is like a spotlight. It shows you what has been hiding in the shadows. If you notice jealousy, take it as information. It doesn't mean you must cut someone off immediately, but it does mean you guard your energy, set firmer boundaries, and don't ignore your intuition. Remember, the eclipse is not just about cosmic shifts, it's about clarity. If jealousy reveals itself in those closest to you, don't see it as betrayal. See it as the universe showing you the truth you need to know before you step into your next chapter. Every eclipse carries with it a hidden exam, and the subject is always loyalty. It's not about whether people say they care for you, it's about whether their actions hold true when the cosmic pressure rises. On ordinary days, masks can stay firmly in place. People can play the role of the supportive friend, the loving partner, or the loyal family member. But on eclipse day, when energies intensify and shadows are stirred, those masks often slip. What is revealed is the truth you were meant to see. The test of loyalty is rarely loud or dramatic. It's usually subtle, almost silent. Watch carefully, and you'll notice who stands steady beside you when the atmosphere feels strange, and who suddenly shifts. True loyalty feels calm, grounded, and unwavering, even when the world is buzzing with uncertainty. False loyalty, on the other hand, grows restless. It shows up as agitation, avoidance, or even irritation at your presence. These small cracks reveal where someone's heart truly stands. For chosen ones, this test can be painful because it often involves people you've trusted for years. The eclipse has a way of pulling up old, hidden resentments and bringing them to the surface. A close friend who secretly envied you may finally let their jealousy slip. A partner who hasn't been fully honest may grow distant or defensive. A family member may choose this exact moment to criticize you rather than support you. It feels sudden, but the truth is, these feelings were always there. The eclipse simply made them visible. This is why ancient traditions often treated eclipses as moments of revelation. They believed that cosmic alignments not only affected the sky, but also illuminated the hidden truths of human hearts. And isn't that exactly what loyalty is? A matter of the heart. You don't need to analyze words during this time, you only need to observe. Do they show up with kindness, or do they show you their shadow? The real power of the eclipse test is that it helps you separate your circle into two groups, those who truly belong in your journey and those who were only meant to walk part of the way. This isn't about bitterness, it's about clarity. Loyalty isn't proven when life is easy, it's revealed when life becomes heavy. Eclipse energy brings that heaviness, and in it, the truth rises to the surface. So don't fear the test, welcome it. If someone fails, they weren't meant to carry the next part of your destiny. If someone passes, you'll know their bond with you is authentic and unshakable. Either way, you win, because the eclipse removes illusions and leaves only what's real. Every chosen one knows the feeling. You spend time with someone, and afterwards, instead of feeling nourished, you feel depleted, like your inner flame has dimmed. That's not coincidence. It's the signature of a spiritual parasite, often called an energy drainer. These are people who feed on your light, sometimes unconsciously, sometimes deliberately. And on eclipse day, when energies are at their peak, their hunger becomes even stronger. Energy drainers don't always look like villains. In fact, they're often disguised as the people closest to you, friends, family, co-workers, or even partners. They may not even realize what they're doing. It can be as subtle as unloading their negativity on you every time you meet, calling you only when they need something, or constantly pulling your focus onto their problems without offering genuine support in return. For the chosen ones, who are naturally compassionate and empathetic, this can create an invisible trap. You keep giving, they keep taking, and before you know it, you're running on empty. During an eclipse, the danger intensifies. That's because your energy is especially radiant on this day. Cosmic shifts make chosen ones glow more brightly, attracting both supportive and draining forces. Spiritual parasites sense this unconsciously. They might suddenly reach out after weeks of silence, needing your attention right when you're supposed to be protecting your space. Or they may stir up conflict, releasing negativity that sticks to you like dust. The eclipse acts as a magnet, pulling these hidden dynamics into view. The effects are real and noticeable. After interacting with an energy drainer, you might feel heavy, anxious, or unusually tired. You may question yourself more or feel disconnected from your own intuition. These aren't just mood swings, they're signs that your energy has been siphoned. For chosen ones, whose sensitivity is already heightened, the impact can be overwhelming. But hear the empowering truth. Once you recognize these patterns, you can break free. Awareness is your shield. Notice who consistently leaves you feeling drained versus who leaves you feeling uplifted. On eclipse day especially, protect your boundaries fiercely. This could mean turning down an invitation, keeping conversations brief, or simply avoiding unnecessary contact. Your energy is sacred. It is not for everyone to consume. Practical protection helps too. Many traditions recommend cleansing rituals on eclipse days. Salt baths, smudging, prayer, or even a few moments of deep breathing and visualizing light around your body. These aren't empty rituals. They reset your energy field and release what isn't yours. You don't have to carry the heaviness of others. Remember this, parasites only thrive when you allow them constant access. The eclipse is a reminder that not everyone deserves your light. Protect your flame, conserve your energy, and let only those who honor and respect your spirit share in it. By doing so, you ensure that your strength isn't siphoned away, but instead grows brighter, guiding you to your true path. On eclipse day, silence becomes more than just the absence of words, it becomes a shield. The cosmic atmosphere is already charged, emotions are heightened, and people's shadows are closer to the surface than usual. In this environment, speaking too much or revealing too much can make you vulnerable, but silence, paired with sharp observation, allows you to see what others miss and protect yourself from unnecessary harm. Most people rush to fill silence with noise, opinions, gossip, or reassurances, but chosen ones understand that silence is a language of its own. When you choose not to speak, you give yourself room to listen, not just to words, but to tone, body language, and energy. You begin to notice things that would normally slip by unnoticed. During an eclipse, this awareness is priceless. It's the difference between being blindsided by someone's jealousy and spotting it in their micro-expressions before it escalates. Observation is equally powerful. Instead of reacting to every word or action, sit back and let people reveal themselves. They always do. Pay attention to who grows restless in your success, who seems uneasy in your presence, who withdraws when you shine. These subtle behaviors often speak louder than declarations of loyalty. On Eclipse Day, when the cosmic energy strips away facades, observation allows you to separate appearance from truth. There's also a protective element here. By staying silent, you don't hand others weapons they can use against you. People who carry envy or resentment often twist your words, even unconsciously. When you reveal less, you give them less to manipulate. Silence keeps your plans, your emotions, and your energy safe. Instead of defending yourself constantly, you let your quiet presence do the work. Think of silence as your spiritual armor and observation as your sword. Together, they keep you steady in the storm of the eclipse. Silence shields you from revealing too much. Observation sharpens your discernment of who is trustworthy. You don't need to confront or accuse. Simply watching teaches you everything you need to know. And there's a deeper lesson too. Silence creates space for intuition. When you're not drowning in constant conversation, you can hear the quiet voice within, the guidance of your higher self. On Eclipse Day, that voice often becomes clearer than ever. It whispers truths, warns of dangers, and nudges you toward the right path. But to hear it, you must be still. So as the eclipse approaches, embrace silence, not as a retreat into fear, but as a deliberate act of wisdom. Let your quietness reveal others' shadows and strengthen your own light. Observe carefully, trust what you see, and remember that sometimes the loudest revelations come not from speaking, but from watching in stillness. One of the hardest lessons for chosen ones is realizing that not everyone close to you has earned the right to your trust. We are taught from childhood that family always has our back, that friends who have been around for years will never betray us, and that loyalty is guaranteed simply because of shared history. But Eclipse Day has a way of tearing down these illusions. It shines a cosmic spotlight on relationships, exposing where trust was built on truth and where it was built on assumption. Blind trust is dangerous because it ignores human complexity. Just because someone laughs with you doesn't mean they celebrate you. Just because they've walked beside you doesn't mean they want to see you rise higher. Trust, when given freely without discernment, becomes a doorway for betrayal. Eclipse energy intensifies this reality by revealing the cracks in your connections. Words that once comforted you may suddenly feel hollow. Promises that once felt solid may now seem fragile. It's not that the eclipse created betrayal. It simply makes it impossible to ignore. Think of trust like a bank account. Every supportive action, every consistent display of loyalty is a deposit. Every act of neglect, jealousy, or dishonesty is a withdrawal. Some people stay in your life overdrawing constantly, but because of blind trust, you don't notice how bankrupt the relationship has become. Eclipse Day is the moment the universe hands you the statement and says, "Look closely, are they really investing in you or only taking?" Breaking the illusion doesn't mean becoming cold or suspicious of everyone. It means choosing wisdom over naivety. It means asking yourself, has this person truly earned my trust through their actions, or have I been holding on to them because of familiarity, guilt, or fear of being alone? The eclipse clears away excuses, forcing you to see people as they are, not as you wish they were. For chosen ones, this can be painful. Realizing that someone you've trusted blindly is not aligned with your growth can feel like betrayal, but in reality, it's liberation. When you release blind trust, you reclaim your power. You no longer hand people unearned access to your energy, your secrets, or your destiny. You begin to give trust intentionally, only to those who consistently prove worthy of it. The gift of the eclipse is clarity. It shows you where illusions of trust have blinded you and invites you to see with sharper eyes. The people who truly belong in your journey will withstand this test. The ones who don't will reveal themselves. And while it may hurt in the moment, breaking the illusion of blind trust is what allows you to build a future on authenticity rather than deception. Since the dawn of time, eclipses have been more than just celestial events. They've been regarded as warnings, divine messages, or moments of trial. Across cultures and religions, eclipses were seen as times when the heavens revealed truths that people could no longer ignore. What's fascinating is how consistent this theme is. Whether you look at ancient empires, folklore, or sacred scriptures, the message is the same: pay attention, because what is hidden will be revealed. In many ancient cultures, eclipses were treated as omens that kings and rulers took very seriously. The Babylonians, for example, believed eclipses could signal the downfall of a leader. To protect their kings, they would sometimes install a substitute ruler during the eclipse, allowing the real king to step aside until the danger passed. This shows how deeply they recognized that power, loyalty, and betrayal often collide under cosmic pressure. Scriptures also carry similar warnings. In the Bible, celestial signs in the heavens are repeatedly described as markers of divine intervention, signaling times of testing and upheaval. The Quran speaks of eclipses as reminders of God's power and as calls to prayer and reflection. In both traditions, the message is not about fear, but about awareness, pausing to recognize that extraordinary alignments in the sky often mirror extraordinary shifts on Earth and in human hearts. Folklore from around the world adds another layer. In Indian tradition, eclipses were said to be caused by the demon Rahu swallowing the sun or moon, a story that symbolizes deception, hidden forces, and the temporary triumph of darkness over light. In Norse mythology, wolves chasing the sun and moon were said to finally catch them during eclipses, again highlighting the theme of danger hidden in familiar cycles. Even indigenous cultures in the Americas often treated eclipses as sacred trials, moments when communities would fast, pray, or stay indoors to guard themselves against unseen energies. These warnings weren't superstition, they were wisdom. They reflected a deep understanding that eclipses bring heightened vulnerability. Just as the sun's light can be blocked, so too can truth be obscured in human relationships. Just as shadows move across the sky, shadows within people emerge more boldly. For chosen ones, the message from history and scripture is clear: don't ignore the signs. Use the eclipse as a time to heighten your discernment, protect your energy, and observe carefully who is truly aligned with you. The consistency of these warnings across cultures tells us something profound. Humanity, no matter the time or place, has always sensed that eclipses are moments of revelation and trial. They are cosmic checkpoints. They remind us that the balance between light and shadow is never just above us, it's also within us and around us. To survive and thrive through them, chosen ones must carry the same wisdom our ancestors did. Stay alert, stay grounded, and never dismiss the truths that come to light during these rare and powerful alignments. Every eclipse is more than a spectacle in the sky, it's a doorway. The alignment of the sun, moon, and earth symbolizes cycles closing and new ones beginning. For chosen ones, this moment is not just about watching the heavens, it's about recognizing the fork in the road that appears in your own life. The eclipse opens a gateway, and the choices you make as you step through it shape the direction of your next season. Think of it this way: the sun represents your conscious self, the clarity of who you are. The moon reflects your inner world, your emotions, intuition, and hidden truths. When the two align during an eclipse, the shadows that emerge remind you that you cannot carry illusions into your future. Old ties, toxic relationships, and false loyalties are brought to the surface for one reason, so you can decide whether to release them or remain bound by them. This is why eclipses often feel intense or unsettling. They force decisions that you may have been avoiding. Perhaps you've sensed someone close to you no longer supports your growth, but you've ignored it for the sake of peace. The eclipse will bring circumstances that make ignoring impossible. Perhaps you've been hesitating to step into your true calling out of fear. Again, the eclipse energy will push you toward that choice. It is less about punishment and more about alignment. The universe is essentially asking, do you want to carry this shadow forward, or are you ready to walk into light unburdened? The gateway is not just external, it's deeply personal. Many chosen ones report that during or after eclipses, they feel an inner shift, sudden clarity about relationships, fresh vision for their purpose, or a strong sense of what they must release. These are not coincidences. They are signals that the gateway has opened and your spirit is being nudged to step into a new chapter. The danger comes when you ignore these signals. If you cling to relationships that drain you, if you choose comfort over growth, if you silence your intuition, you may find yourself trapped in cycles that repeat until the next cosmic reset. The eclipse doesn't punish you, but it does magnify the consequences of your choices. The beauty, however, lies in empowerment. You are not powerless in the face of an eclipse. You have the ability to choose wisely, to step through the gateway with discernment and courage. Protect your energy, release what no longer serves you, and embrace the people and paths that align with your destiny. Every eclipse asks the same question: will you choose evolution, or will you remain bound to the past? If you walk through this gateway with awareness, you'll find that Eclipse Day is not something to fear. It's an initiation. It's the universe handing you a key and saying, here is your chance to unlock the next level of your life. Awareness is powerful, but protection is essential. On Eclipse Day, the energy around you is heightened, raw, and unpredictable. This makes it the perfect time not only for revelation, but also for intrusion. Negative thoughts, emotions, or even the jealousy of others can latch onto your spirit if you're unguarded. For chosen ones, who already act like magnets for unseen energies, protecting yourself spiritually and energetically is not optional, it's survival. Start with spiritual armor. This isn't something physical, it's a daily practice of aligning your spirit before you step into the world. Prayer, meditation, or setting clear intentions are simple yet powerful ways to establish a shield. When you wake up on Eclipse Day, speak affirmations over yourself. I am protected, I am guided. No energy that is not mine can stay with me. These words aren't just positive thinking, they're vibrations that set the tone for your energy field. Next, focus on cleansing rituals. Throughout history, people have used natural elements to guard against unseen negativity. And for good reason. A salt bath helps clear energetic residue. Burning sage, incense, or frankincense purifies your space. Even something as simple as washing your hands with intention can act as a symbolic release of unwanted energy. On Eclipse Day, these rituals hold double strength because your spirit is already more attuned to the shifts in the air. Another powerful tool is energetic boundaries. This is not about pushing people away, it's about deciding who gets access to your light. Pay attention to how you feel after interacting with someone. If you feel drained, uneasy, or restless, that's a sign your energy is being compromised. Give yourself permission to limit conversations, step back from chaotic environments, or avoid unnecessary touch. Boundaries are not walls. They are doors you choose to open only for those who respect your space. Grounding is equally vital. When eclipse energy feels overwhelming, bring yourself back to the earth. Walk barefoot on the ground, sit quietly near trees, or breathe deeply while imagining roots extending from your body into the soil. This practice stabilizes your energy and prevents you from being swept up in other people's chaos. For chosen ones, grounding is like anchoring your ship during a storm. It keeps you steady while the waves crash around you. Finally, embrace the power of solitude. On Eclipse Day, silence and stillness are your allies. Instead of filling your schedule with noise and people, carve out time to be alone. Journal, pray, or simply sit in reflection. The less external energy you absorb, the clearer your intuition becomes. What feels like withdrawal is actually renewal, giving your spirit room to breathe and recharge. Protection is not fear, it's wisdom. The eclipse is not out to destroy you, it's inviting you to rise. But you cannot rise if you're burdened with energies that don't belong to you. By shielding yourself spiritually and energetically, you ensure that your light remains untouchable, even in the darkest shadow of the eclipse. When the eclipse passes, many people breathe a sigh of relief and go back to their routines. But for chosen ones, the hours and days after an eclipse are not just a return to normal, they are the start of something new. The shadows may have revealed painful truths, but within those revelations lies your strength. If the eclipse stripped away illusions, it was only to give you clarity. If it exposed betrayal, it was only to free you from false loyalty. What feels like loss is actually liberation. The true power of an eclipse is not in the moment of darkness, but in what happens afterward. The sun re-emerges, the light returns, and with it comes renewal. Spiritually, this mirrors your own process. Every revelation you endured, every hidden jealousy you saw, every mask that fell, these were not punishments, but initiations. The universe was clearing the path so you could rise lighter, sharper, and more aligned with your destiny. Rising stronger means choosing not to dwell in bitterness. Yes, betrayal hurts. Yes, seeing someone you trusted reveal their shadow can sting deeply, but holding on to that pain only anchors you to the very energy the eclipse was trying to release. Instead, take what you've learned as wisdom. Now you know who truly stands with you. Now you know which relationships are nourishing and which are draining. That knowledge is priceless, and it gives you freedom. It also means recognizing how much stronger your discernment has become. Every test sharpens your intuition. Every disappointment teaches you to trust your inner voice more. The eclipse wasn't just about exposing others, it was about awakening you. You now carry sharper spiritual vision, the ability to sense energy shifts, and the courage to make choices that align with your higher calling. The most important step after an eclipse is stepping forward. Don't linger in the shadows of what was revealed. Take the clarity and use it to fuel your next chapter. Invest in relationships that uplift you, commit to practices that protect your energy, and walk boldly in the direction of your destiny. The eclipse was the universe's way of clearing your path. Now it's your turn to walk it. Remember, chosen ones are not defined by what they lose, but by how they rise after loss. Each eclipse is a reminder that you are being refined, not broken. Every shadow that passed over you was temporary. The light always returns, and when it does, it shines brighter on those who had the courage to stand through the darkness. That is you, that is your power. And from here, your journey continues with greater strength than ever before.